Greetings. This is Lord Vader.
And I'm Admiral Akbar. Don't listen to him. It's a trap.
Oh my, are all these people in one room? This is terrifying, R2. We're doomed.
Hey, would you shut up back there? I'm trying to get the hyperdrive to work.
Strange. Do not argue with each other. Be peaceful, you must. Listen to Craft Brews and Geek News. Happy you will be.
So welcome everybody to another episode of the Brewmasters Club cast. Here is what you have to look forward to in tonight's episode.
I had a German beer that I needed help saying out loud, and you were nowhere to be found, bud.
Oh, man. What was it? Shaken? High fit shaken?
something like that.
I feel like that's a chicken joint.
You guys ready to get into this? Because we have an interesting show this evening.
Okay.
From the looks of it, I'm not involved in most of it, but that's
nope.
Okay.
See you later, bud.
Yeah.
Good talking.
Hit that mute button right now.
I'm going to start live streaming questions.
If anyone has any extra notches out there, we're looking to kick it up a couple.
I'm so excited to be Spider-Man and work with Iron Man and all the guys that I've watched in the theaters. Yes.
God.
Dude, Curious George Land is my favorite. Like, can you imagine 45 people instantly throwing up halfway through a ride? Just because they're like, oh boy, they're like, did you hit the delay switch? Like, Tom, come on.
It's a pizza.
It's me, a pizza.
Now we're squawking.
Can you punch enough chickens to where they all attack you?
They're fighting you.
I've got a bad feeling about this. Timestamp this hot poll.
Get out of my face.
How crazy would it be if somebody started driving for Uber and they had a convertible taxi and they were like, hop in. Hashtag doubt the stout.
Oh, jeez, no. Doubt.
Cool, guys. All right.
This is a restricted area. Drill or something? Negative. Fine by me. I hate drill. You crazy mother.
Welcome to the official podcast of the Brewmasters Club, Craft Brews and Geek News. Sit back, pour yourself a pint, and let's get into it. Now here's the founder of the Brewmasters Club and your host, Donnie Gallagher.
Welcome, craft beer fans. Good evening. My name is Donnie, and welcome to another thrilling episode of the Brewmasters Club cast. This is the official podcast of the Brewmasters Club, of course. I'm joined tonight by a few of the full panel here, the full cast. Everyone say hello. Go ahead, Dane, start us off.
Hello.
You said everyone.
Hello.
Hey, everyone.
Hello.
Perfect. Mr. Dane, how are you?
Fantastic. How are you? Glad to be here.
We're glad to have you.
No one asked.
And Mr.
No one asked him those questions. No one asked him any of those questions.
Mr. Lausman.
Yes, I'm doing good.
That's good. And last but not least, Mr. Rye Guy, how are you?
I was just about to say, I'm last, but I'm not least. All right. Good call, Donnie. I'm here. Thanks for having me.
That's what I said, of course. So last week we got into. I was just explaining to Dane before we started recording. You were gone, I think, for the last cast, which was the E3 coverage. Which he said, "Hey man, how much E3 did you guys get through?" And I said, "We had a lot of good beers. We had a lot of good beer stories, and I really don't think that we did the E3 exactly as much justice as I thought we should have." So Dane, I think you may want to chime in at some point once we get past the beer section here, but just for this particular episode, number 43, big one, boys. Let's just do light on the beer. We'll do some light beer. Some heavy geek stuff. So Ryan, you had an interesting beer story at least this evening. Why don't you go ahead and kick us off with the tale of two stouts?
The tale of two stouts. So I brewed my beer and brought this to the show. It's only one stout. I didn't bring two, so I was like, well, I don't know where to go with that. I forget exactly what I put in it, but I know there's black malt in here. I need to kick it up a notch. If anybody's out there listening, and is a home brewer themselves, if you have any feedback that you can send our way. Right now, still only doing 1 gallon brews, but not sure I'm getting the consistency or the thickness for it to pull off as a straight up stout. So I'm a little disappointed in that.
Or what's wrong with it?
No, it's just it's too watery. For a gallon brew with over 3.5 pounds of grains in there, it's just still too watery. Not sure what I did wrong with this one, but trial and error, live and learn.
Is that number 14?
This is 14. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all right. Well, you can't all have all winners.
No, but I thought it'd be an interesting piece to talk about just because, if anybody out there listening to the show has some insight, they can chime in or tweet us or something like that, maybe some comments. I mean, just to get some beer conversation going outside of the cast or even inside the cast. What do you recommend? What do you think I should do?
If anyone has any extra notches out there, we're looking to kick it up a couple. Just any spare notches, like a sack full of notches. Send them into the show. We'll give you Donnie's direct address.
Yeah, mail me all your notches. That's fine.
Oh, well.
For the Brewmasters Club, we're all still experimenting. That's what we
right.
do, and that's why we founded this, to talk about it, to create conversation, to push craft beers. So yeah, let's see if anybody can provide some insight as to what might be going on.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So for work recently, I had to travel to Jacksonville, Florida, not North Carolina. And I came across Veterans United Craft Brewery, their Hop Banshee. I just wanted to grab a local brew, and found it in like a random Circle K. First off, about the brewery itself, it's owned and operated by veterans only. So that's pretty cool. Kind of like that. And it is exactly what it says it is. It's a hop banshee. It is extremely hoppy, like almost too much. But other than that, it's just your just pretty standardized India Pale Ale and 6.5% ABV. So good little drink to get you nice and toasty. So I liked it. Yeah.
Excellent. How about you, Dane? Did you bring anything interesting?
No, just
Oh, not again.
No. One of the ingredients for beer, just water. I have water and something else. So gotta take.
You said ingredients, not byproducts. Sorry.
Yeah. So ask me next week.
Yeah,
Cool
some
amount.
of us have to take it easy. Go ahead and say it again right now. We are having some weird technology issues. It's like everybody's kind of breaking up and being real choppy. It could be on my end recording. I'm not sure, but it sounds crazy. So I apologize if it sounds crazy to everybody.
All right, we're going command center.
Sounds better.
I don't care what it is. This is crazy. Sorry about that. Anyways, you guys can hear me now. Everything's okay. So what I brought, just because it is a favorite, is the Goose Island Sophie. Goose Island's making this beer a long time ago. In fact, in 2009 is the first time that it hit Beer Advocate, which means it was reviewed for the first time. And it is it's a saison, so it's a farmhouse ale. It's one of the beers they've been making, and they make it the same exact way, regardless of who owns Goose Island Brewery. The Sophie was just it's probably my first try at a Belgian beer, and it's a saison, which was new to me, and farmhouse ale was also new to me. So I have a special place for this beer in my heart, but I just love it. So I saw it at the store. I was literally walking through, had to pick it up. So I thought you guys might appreciate that, because I know, Ryan, at least you and I have had the Sophie before, and we both really enjoyed it. So
Delicious.
Yep. Made with some, like, it's got citrus. It's got like a champagne-esque color and kind of look to it. Very good beer. Aged in wine barrels. A little bit of vanilla on there, so it's just fantastic beer. So that's all, but that's it. So Ryan, did you have anything else about your beer? Because I was afraid that my connection may have been messing that up. Did you want to? You're just looking for some help on that.
I'm looking for help on the stouts. I feel like I'm honing in on the IPAs and having fun with those. And I've got an ale right now that I'm doing, just regular, pale ale, if you will, or I don't know if it's gonna
if you won't,
or if you won't, but.
I won't.
It's just the stouts. What's going to take it to that next level? Because I have Sierra Nevada stout, and I poured my stout and I poured the Sierra Nevada stout side by side. I had that one. What I notice about Sierra Nevada stouts is they've got a lot of like a hoppiness to them. Most stouts don't. They have more of a bite. Where Sierra Nevada, they have more of a hoppiness in their stout, if you will. So I had mine, and I felt like mine was there, but very watery, if you will. So I feel like that's the direction I need to go, just add more. So like I said earlier, if anybody has any feedback or
I would just Google it. Like I would Google it, check it out, see what other home brewers are doing. I mean, like that's all part of the experimentation, is like learning what what you can do differently, or maybe you made a mistake somewhere down the line. It doesn't necessarily mean that your recipe was wrong or the way you did it was wrong. It could just been a simple mistake. So
wouldn't
worry
out
about
there
it.
listening that's loving our show and stuff like that. If you have any insight or feedback, that'd be great to get you guys involved with us too.
Boys, so like I said, we want to dive right into some of this additional stuff here that is outside the realm of the beers. Anybody opposed to that at the moment? Dane, did you want to say anything else about last week or the E3 stuff that you didn't get a chance to participate in? Anything before we move on to this week news? Because there was a lot of news that came out in terms of geeky stuff this week.
Yeah, I just want to get everyone's take on maybe their top 5 anticipated games. My top 5, I think number 1, God of War. Number 2, Mario. 3, going to go with AC Origins. 4, Battlefront 2. 5, Spider-Man. And maybe Dragon Ball as a contender there for top 5. So there's a lot to go with E3, so that's just really my top 5. There's a ton of stuff on the interwebs. Figure out what you like, what your niche is. So
my top 5 is very similar to yours because of course Mario, because I'm a Mario fanboy. I was excited for Assassin's Creed. I hope they mix it up a little bit, but that's not my number 2. That's probably like 4 or 5. My number 2 is definitely Battlefront 2 because that's going to be badass. And then you throw Assassin's Creed in there. I think I talked to you guys about the zombie motorcycle one, and I don't remember what it's called, and then Days Gone 2 or something like that. So I don't know. Laos, Laos, did you have a top 5?
Yeah, mine's reminiscent of y'all's, but I would say, Battlefront 2 has got to top that list for me. And then I'm excited to see where that Mario goes, Mario Odyssey. And then I'd have to say somewhere on the list is Ace Combat. Kind of excited to see where that goes. And then, I've got to say Far Cry. Far Cry, I know it wasn't really announced there, but the more we get to see of it, the more I'm like, I want to destroy Montana, like all of it.
Do all sorts of weird stuff in Montana.
Yeah, I just want to get real weird with it, and
yeah. Brian, what are your top 5?
Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball, and Dragon Ball.
I might throw Spider-Man, and if I ever get past the
Spider-Man.
first Assassin's Creed, I might throw in Assassin's.
Well, so I learned about Spider-Man. It's outside. There probably will be. It's outside the canon, so it's basically its own story, and it's using a 24-year-old version of Peter Parker, which is not
the Tom Holland version that we're getting in the movie.
So
that was a little gay boy for all you viewers out there.
I'm so excited to be Spider-Man and work with Iron Man and all the guys that I've watched in the theaters. Yes.
God.
I love it. But anyways, he's like 17 in the new Spider-Man movie. So this is a different Spider-Man. And even in the end of that, like his sidekick that could potentially, his name is like Marvin or something like that in the comic books, that like takes over the Spider-Man role after he becomes kind of like a mentor figure. So that game's going to be pretty interesting. I saw like the demo that they had, and the web slinging whilst between buildings and the bad guy fight scenes. They used the Arkham fighting style, which looked sick. But overall, it really is reminiscent of that game that we used to play on PS3, that we both like just loved, just for the swinging in the city, part. So it looks good. So I'm excited for that too.
90% of the time, I died because I wasn't paying attention, and I would just swing into shit, and I'd be like, "Well, that's on me." Like I should have read that text. So no texting and swinging. But Ryan, you had a point.
No, I was just gonna say no, I'm good. I forgot what I was gonna say.
All right.
Sorry, buddy.
Sorry, guys. Not much of a gamer. Sorry.
Well, then you'll love the next few pieces of news here. Yeah, so the first thing, so we've got a lot here. So just to give you guys a sneak peek, we've got some really interesting information, some screenshots, some descriptions, some details dropped about Super Mario Land that's coming to Universal. That's amazing. Then there was some Star Wars news that happened with the Han Solo film, which we'll get into again, which was crazy, but it dropped yesterday. There was also some news, some jargon about the Boba Fett movie, which came up, and then we'll round it out with some additional video game stuff, which includes 5, 6, a bunch of titles that are coming out on the iOS and Android system for free. Some of your favorite old school video games are coming out for free, and we'll get into that in just a few minutes. But first off, yes, Super Mario Land. What do you guys think about that? Because I am stoked. I don't even have Universal passes, but I might consider getting them now.
It'd be sweet.
Mm-hmm.
So
and they need that because
they do.
Universal kind of sucks, in my opinion.
Well, they just shelled out all that money for Harry Potter Land, and Harry Potter Land, it was phenomenal, and is phenomenal. But
Yeah, which is great. Yeah, I
yeah,
love
it's good.
the Harry Potter one.
You
Don't
just
get me wrong.
I think theme parks have to stay because they know what they're facing is in 2019. Disney's dropping Star Wars Land, so you better keep churning out good shit, or else people are not going to come to your theme park. That's just my opinion.
Well, and that's part of the push, I think, for Volcano Bay for Universal. But just pointing out a fun video for everyone to watch and see. If you want to see something that's just extremely embarrassing to be a white male, go ahead and watch the opening day for Volcano Bay. They had just the most embarrassing sort of. It was like rainy, and they still had to go on with the show, and they had this like big. Like just this big grand noise, like they had a bunch of people of Hawaiian descent where they were like doing this big thing where they come out on surfboards and stuff and they like pass a rock. And it was just like the whole time I'm watching it, I'm like, who signed off on this? I'm like, this is embarrassing.
Whose hand is not on the stop button?
Dude, they should have stopped that before it started. Like they should have been like, well, it's kind of rainy. Let's just not do this. And maybe we can just say, hey, we opened a water park. Like, but no, they had to do like they created a backstory and then they created like a reason for the backstory. And it was like they should have stopped before they started. Just make a cool slide or two out of a volcano and call it a day, man.
I was still.
That's my rant. Sorry.
Well, I was still like in the attractions industry when they launched that earlier this year, and so it was like there was a guy and he was doing like a vlog or something, and he was like, "Look how much fun we're having! There's nobody here," and he's like diving through everything. But as soon as he gets to the water, he's like shivering because it's like about to thunderstorm and it's blowing like it's like 60 degrees because it's just windy. I'm like, you asshole. But that's not going to happen at Nintendo Land because Nintendo Land is going to be sick, and the details that we got are amazing. This basically came out on some dudes. So the guy's name is Gary Snyder on Twitter, and he launched these yesterday, which is a bunch of concept images that basically showed the U.S. version of Super Mario World, which is going to be constructed within Universal Studios Florida, which is crazy. But the thing is, like a couple weeks ago, Universal Studios Japan actually released like a full-blown trailer video thing with Japanese family and Mario and some like weird CGI stuff, but it expanded on kind of this like concept of the park. And some of those screenshots are in what I saved here, but what was released yesterday was an actual map of where exactly in the park this is going to be stationed and what these little areas might look like. So I'm super stoked to get into this stuff because I was like really wondering what this actually would look like.
Please tell me they just demolished the Jimmy Fallon ride and just build it there.
I actually think I think that's still there. If you look at that,
of course it's going to be there.
Yeah. So if you look on the map, in the notes, it's basically located in between Simpsons Land and E.T., which is taking over Woody Woodpecker's Kid Zone, Curious George,
God forbid,
Fievel's Playland, Animal Actor Studio, and A Day in the Park with Barney show. All of those, every single one of those things are extremely outdated.
Dude, Curious George Land is my favorite.
Only when you get the ball gun and use to shoot that really angry lady in the face, and she would get real mad.
I only shoot the adults with the ball gun. It's the best.
It's the best part.
I spare all children.
Yep. But we're looking at the Mushroom Kingdom. You've got Donkey Kong Island. You've got the Kirby Kids Playground, which would be fun. Hyrule Zelda's Kingdom, which sounds great, and a Mario Kart ride. I mean, you really can't mess with that because that lineup sounds pretty awesome. And these pictures that are in here actually go to boot, like, and give it a little more credibility because it looks pretty sick.
I don't think you can really screw it up that much either because, I mean, it's Nintendo.
Well, in Universal's kind of crazy already, right? You walk in and it's like Seuss Land next to the Hulk, next to Dueling Dragons, next to Harry Potter World. So like, what are you trying to do, man? Like you can't really take it, that seriously. But it looks very cool. And they have a timeline. The timeline is actually sometime in Orlando. They're going to break ground after Halloween Horror Nights. Honestly, the next 2 years or so.
I think they have to.
Yeah, if they're already talking about it here, then they're definitely talking about, you know, next 2 years or so. But this has kind of like been a sneaky sneak. It's not really been something that's been publicly, you know, embraced by them. So who knows?
I think it'll be good. I'm excited. What I don't like about Universal, and you guys tell me if you like it or not, but the 3D rides, I'm not a huge fan of it. And that's all Universal is.
Yeah.
Except for the, you know, 1 or 2, 3 coasters.
E.T.
Yeah.
Easy.
To their credit, I mean, they're trying to make you feel like you're in the movie. So, I mean, they kind of have to do that. There's really no other way.
I'm with Dane, though. Every theme park, Transformers ride, the new King Kong, I mean, everything is you have to put on these damn glasses. My wife doesn't do the glasses. She doesn't put the 3D glasses on. So, like, what does that do for people like her that can't enjoy them, you know?
Yeah.
So
I had to do it because of the Harry Potter. I did it before boot camp. My wife took me to see the other half because I had never been, and I had to try the new ride. But I hate it. Like, it was cool. Don't get me wrong. Like, it was very, very well done, but it just makes me sick. And I think it makes a lot of people
it makes
uneasy.
me sick. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well,
I love the whole coaster, although I haven't been on the new version, if that's even come out yet.
I don't even know about the new version, but I know that like SeaWorld, they have the Kraken that you put on the 3D goggles for, and that's probably pretty cool, but it's, again, totally different. So, I don't know. I haven't done that one either. Is that out yet, Lels? Do you know?
What, the new Kraken?
Mm-hmm. The new Kraken with the 3D glasses? Or with
I believe so.
The VR, I think.
Yeah, they make you strap on VR glasses, and then all of a sudden you ride a roller coaster, which, okay.
Sounds crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
double whammy.
You don't need to like see where you're going or whatnot. It's fine. Like, what happens if that if you know, rides, like sometimes they have goof ups. Like, what happens if that's like 2 seconds off? Doesn't sound like a much, but all of a sudden you're like, I'm going down a hill. Not yet. No. Yep. Okay, there I am. And now I'm upside down. Like, I'm not. Like, can you imagine like 45 people instantly throwing up halfway through a ride? Like, just because they're like, oh boy, they're like, did you hit the delay switch? Like, Tom, come on.
Tom, you're really screwing the pooch.
Yeah, it's Tom's fault always, but you know, that's
fucking missed the button, Tom. Damn it.
All right.
It sounds horrible.
So moving on, just because I want to get through these concepts now, just so we can hit a little bit of them. But essentially, all this stuff is really like the rumor mill. So like nobody knows if any of it's accurate or anything like that. Everybody's going to enter, you know, through Peach's Castle, which would be cool, which is very neat, and they're going to theme it like Mario and have tubes and, you know, plumbing that you walk through, and it'll have 2 levels, which is neat. I mean, I could not wait to like have real life Mario. I think that'd be awesome. But it'll have things like a World of Mario Superstore, probably stock with merch, interactive gaming area, which would be a lot of Nintendo games, I'm sure. Bullet Bill's Flying Ride, which is going to be something similar to Dumbo. Koopa Troopa's Spinning Shells, again, think Mad Tea Party. And the Pokemon Training Academy, which would be like the Jedi Academy at Disney. Again, see, I'm telling you, they're going to try and pull off some things that they can really compete with. There'll be a Mario and Luigi's Pizza, obvious, which is good.
No way.
Yeah. It's a pizza.
It's a pizza.
There'll be a show for some sort of stage or something, I'm sure, and then a ton of retail. Moving on, Kirby's Kid Playground, of course, wet, dry areas for kids, games, all sorts of fun stuff. There was a bunch of the Mario Kart actual images that came out, and I really think it's going to be, I heard this on another podcast, actually. I think it was on Filthy Casuals or Weekly Planet, but there's a 2-track system. So you're on a track, right? And you probably set in a row of cars, and you hit blocks, and when you make an action, your car switches off that track if you get hit or you get slowed down or you hit a banana peel or something. I mean, how cool would that be for a ride?
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
That's a game changer.
To put you in the game.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yep.
When do I get to bash my head into a bunch of brick blocks? That's what I'm interested in.
Well, you just drive into them. That's all.
No. I'm talking about old school Mario. I just want to jump in a too small of a hallway and just clobber those things, man, and just bits everywhere, and probably not even get a payout on most of them, if we're all honest. But
well,
I know I can do that.
If this gives you any comfort, Laos, Universal filed for a drifting patent for their new attraction a couple months ago. So if I were you, I'd be pretty stoked looking for this, because I think this is going to be a pretty sweet ride, especially if they have a drifting element to it in addition to all this Mario stuff.
Yeah. So. Okay. Now we're squawking.
Now we're squawking. So then you've got the Donkey Kong Island, which has some playground for kids for whatever. There's a Monkey Minds Madness coaster, which is an outdoor coaster.
It's just a bunch of ladders. Like everyone's like, well, why are all these barrels here?
Yeah.
Well, the coaster they filed for a boom coaster patent. Apparently allows a minecart vehicle to jump over gaps on the ground. So I don't know what a boom. I don't know what a boom coaster is, but it sounds.
I don't want to be the first one on that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so this is something completely new that's never been done before, including its own patent. So again, I don't know what a boom coaster is, but that sounds pretty cool.
Sounds pretty deathly.
pretty good way to smash your own teeth out.
Yeah, where the tracks end, and you're like, oh god, hopefully it jumps.
But Dane, even for you, man, they've got a Hyrule section that's Zelda's Kingdom. So we don't know a whole lot about this one, but in the Japanese version, again, there was a concept of it. And this art here that we're looking at now has a small castle that might contain a show with Zelda and a puzzle moving theater pattern. Yeah. So they have some theater that has to be moved via puzzle or something. The concept art doesn't reveal a whole lot, but the concept art does include like a great Jakku tree, and Kokoriki Village could be pretty cool as an interactive area. I just did the Pandora thing over at Animal Kingdom, and that's pretty sick. And most of that was all about interactive areas. So I think it's shaping up to be pretty awesome. At least something that I've been looking forward to see out of Universal theme park compared to Harry Potter. Harry Potter's great. I'm no doubt it isn't, but it just wasn't my cup of tea. So
can they make like a hang gliding type of ride where you just grab onto a chicken's feet and you just like hold on for dear life?
Can you punch enough chickens to where they all attack you?
They're fighting you.
Yeah. I'd get down on a game like that, or a ride.
Just something similar to Soarin'. You're just holding on to chicken feet.
Yeah. Just hold them right in the gobblers there or something like that.
Ryan knows nothing of the life of the cuckoo. He knows nothing of it.
He's just choking a bunch of chickens, man. It's right up your alley.
Whoa, choking a bunch of chickens.
What was that?
Oh boy.
He's kind of true, but he's not.
Just slapping a cut bull chicken.
So moving on to someone who's not chicken, Han Solo.
Hey.
So June 20th, just yesterday, they actually Speaking of Disney,
damn it, Kathleen.
They fired the directors, which was Lord Miller, the guys who did 21 Jump Street and the Lego movies and a couple other comedic improvisational style of films. Which was interesting news because it kind of came to a shock to a lot of people. I think, there's several months in. They started filming the new Han Solo, the young Han Solo, late January, early February, which means they've been filming now for 5 months. Their principal photography has got to be just about done. So what the hell does this mean for the movie?
I think, Kathleen Kennedy's been producing for a while and has been really a great producer. So I know she has a certain vision on how she wants things exactly done. And I think these two bros kind of go off the wagon a little bit, and she couldn't reel them in. So I think, like, right off the get-go, she knew that these two directors were not the ones for this movie. I know they want to do, like, kind of a Western feel, like an old cowboy feel to this movie in particular, and maybe the comedy level was too much. I don't know.
I think you're right on. I mean, I think there's something to be said for the way they shoot it and the way that she was looking for it to be done, because there's a lot of continuity to pick up too. There's a lot to balance. It's not like you can just take a story like this and make it into your own thing. You've got to kind of play by the rules. And I think that, like you said, these guys kind of weren't. Maybe they thought they could do it. They thought they could stick with it, and they just kind of came off the reservation and Lucasfilm just caught that. So it's unique.
It's Legos. I don't know what her deal is.
They'll be fine. They'll make plenty more Lego movies. Lost Man, did you have anything on these guys and the way that they make movies or about this kind of decision?
I mean, yeah, it's at this point, I don't know film producing procedures, but like, man, like I feel like they're like real far into this. Like, this is a dicey move. Like, I don't know if you can just can them like that and be like, yeah, it'll be cool. Like, we'll just reshoot some parts. It's like, But how does that even work like that? Like, I don't think movies work like that. But
Well, they always budget and account for reshoots, and that's fine. But you don't budget and account to fire directors 4 or 5 months into filming, and that's the crazy part about it. But they have a couple ringers on the line, and this is where it's going to come down to. Like, is Disney making this film to be a safe play, or is it going to be something that is epic and kind of out there, like Rogue One was? Like, Rogue One was very different, and Rogue One did a whole lot of reshoots and editing and refocusing once basically everything was done. Now, again, they didn't fire the directors and start someone new, but they did bring in outside talent to kind of reel it back in. So, I mean, maybe this is nothing. I don't think it's necessarily detrimental. But they're talking about hiring on, Ron Howard or Kasdan, who's basically the scriptwriter, him and his son, to direct the whole thing, which would be crazy. But what do you guys think about that? And bringing on somebody with some actual chutzpah behind him and bring a little Richie Cunningham or whatever his name was.
That's fine. I think with these story movies, you need to take risks. And I thought maybe they're doing it, bringing in these two directors.
Yeah.
I guess they don't want to take those risks, and they really want to make it a
safe play. You think it's going to be a safe play now?
It's not really a bridge the gap type movie, because that's what Rogue One was. Was it bridge the gap?
Yeah, it had the ending here, and you had this piece, and you. Yep.
Yeah, you just brought it together. Whereas this movie is going to be more of the untold story. So, is there a lot of insight into? I mean, maybe Star Wars fans know. Is there a lot of insight to Han Solo's past, where they could be disappointed if they see a movie that might, this is how he got put into the direction of, everything. So I don't know.
There's a lot. I mean, they reference a lot, like when he lands on Bespin, and he's talking to Lando. Like, they have a lot of going back, a lot of back and forth history, a lot of, well, you did this. I hope he's not mad at that. Oh, that was a long time ago. I mean, there was a lot of that conversation going back and forth. So yeah. But I mean, that's story stuff that you could bring up and you could cover within the first 10 minutes of the movie if you played it that way. So
if you want to, yeah. So
they're gonna end the Han Solo movie with him and Mos Eisley chilling in the cantina.
Yeah.
All I have to say about this, the whole producer ditching process here is, I've got a bad feeling about this.
Well, it was the directors, so I've got a bad feeling about your joke.
Well, then you can go stuff yourself, man.
Whatever, you scruffy
direct that joke elsewhere.
Me.
You're a scruffy looking nerf herder, Lost, and I don't care what anybody says.
You don't get to use that word.
You don't say that.
Yeah, you don't get to use that word. That's our word.
You should go. I don't know. I don't think it's a deal breaker. It makes it interesting. I kind of want to see it more now, just to see kind of what happens from here.
You can see the change in the movie. The director's change.
So
he's all.
These guys got fired.
Let me ask you guys a question. If this movie is bad, does it tarnish anything?
It'll definitely leave a mark on people's perception of the spin-offs, because Disney is very tapped in to what people think about these. And this is my opinion. I don't know this, but if this movie is bad, then people are going to say, well, do I really want to see an Obi-Wan movie? Or do I really want to see a Boba Fett movie? Good segue, Ryan. But do I really want to see, the next one they're going to make? Or do I just want to see more mainline stories? So I don't know, but it's a risk either way.
As long as they don't, they can't screw up that much compared to episodes 1 through 3, because those were freaking awful. So,
well, those also had no story arc. It had story from the creator. George Lucas led those movies, of course, and he's the creator, so that's fine. But just because he had it in his head does not mean that it translated well to the continuity of the story, or presented a better story for the fans that were interested. So I think that either way, it's Disney is so much more focused on making this universe bigger and broader and more expanded to make them more money. They're really going to put a lot of resources into making this the best film it can be. And as long as they do that, regardless of who it is that's sitting in that stupid wooden uncomfortable chair, I really don't care. Don't care. But it will be interesting. So that's it. Any final points? We got another Star Wars story, and then we'll move on. So as Ryan so brilliantly alluded to, the Boba Fett movie has run into some problems. Essentially, this is a Cineblend article that kind of went haywire, as in just because they mentioned Boba Fett, everybody starts talking about it because it's one of the most iconic characters in the galaxy. The fan site Making Star Wars received several tips from a recent executive breakfast where allegedly some of the Mandalorian discussion pieces were the main event of this episode or whatever it may be. Basically, they're saying that Lucasfilm wants Boba Fett to remain this infamous, scary kind of dark character that literally only said like one line in the whole franchise, which is fine, but people love him. So they're like, how do we make Boba Fett the highlight of the story, but yet a bad guy, but a good guy? So they're struggling with that.
I can definitely see that struggle, man. Like the more I read on about the show notes, I was just thinking to myself, how do you make a good guy a bad guy and a good guy, but also interesting and give him enough story to take off from one sentence? I'm like, so pretty much the most difficult cinematic feat ever. That's cool.
Here's his best line. I mean, for the listeners out there, it was a simple salute that he gave to fucking in Jabba's palace. That's all it was.
Which I do recommend the Robot Chicken Star Wars, because they also highlight that. One of the guy goes, "Oh, aye, Captain." He goes, "Jeez." He goes, "No, I understand. You're under a lot of pressure." And then he goes right back to pointing a gun at him. It's pretty great.
It's just a long salute. I don't know, man. What I did like about this article, though, that they hinted on was there's a particular window that really makes a good sense and good flow, and it would do a Rogue One-esque kind of fill the gap thing. Essentially, it was between Attack of the Clones and The Empire Strikes Back, where Boba is kind of forging his path, and like his father's dead, he's serving alongside being a badass in his dad's clothes, and runs, afoul of the Republic commandos, hunting people down for Order 66, perfecting his skills. And then this, is just a gigantic cat and mouse game that eventually leads to him doing something, working with Vader, and then getting summoned to the not the Death Star, but the Star Destroyer, Super Star Destroyer, the Executor, in that class of bounty hunters that he calls to go hunt the rebels. So how cool would that be? Because that literally, again, you could see the handoff there where he does something crazy for Vader at the end of the third act, and now all of a sudden the movie starts, and he's standing there next to IG-88, and damn, I used to know all the
Dengar?
Dengar, and who's
Bosk?
Bosk, yeah, Bosk. Yep.
That's Bosk.
Yeah, so it would be sick. It would be sick if he ended up there.
That would be awesome. That'd be a great send-off, because it would really herald back to, spoilers or no spoilers, the whole take it through the door thing. Like, I mean, that'd be just like that. You literally would see, okay, this is how he came to power, and this is how he came to be, and, hopefully that Sarlacc shit didn't happen.
Well, at that point, it wouldn't have happened yet, right? Because if it was in between those two,
true,
it wouldn't have happened.
But how cool would it be if, like, they were like, and 10 years later, and also he's crawling out. Like, I mean, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah. Well, whatever. I don't know. So that was the last piece, but that again was news that came out today. So who knows? I'd be real surprised. Let's take a hot poll. A or B, Dane, Ryan, Laos. What do you guys think it's going to be? Is it going to be Boba Fett or Bounty Hunter, or is it going to be Obi-Wan? What is the next standalone that's going to be released? We'll call it right now. Timestamp 6/21/17.
Timestamp this hot poll.
Hot poll.
Okay. No interpretation there. I'm gonna say it's got to be Boba Fett, dude. Got to be. That was the next one up on deck.
Can you do an Obi-Wan before Episode 1, or are you talking about Obi-Wan post Episode 3?
I've never heard anybody suggest a prequel to the prequels of Obi-Wan, but wouldn't that be interesting?
He'd be like 9.
Well, would he? Because he started that movie when he was in his 20s, I guess, in Episode 1.
Yeah,
he was Luke's age.
Yeah, so you could have him under Qui-Gon, but no, he's too old. Everyone's too old.
I don't know. I don't know. I just threw the question out there.
It's a good question. It's a good question. The problem is that Ewan McGregor is too old now. He's the perfect age for an in between. As Obi-Wan's older, but he's not a good age for anything younger. So I don't know, but that's an interesting question. I don't know.
So what's the kid who's supposed to look like friggin' Harrison Ford?
Dane, what's your tip on the hot poll?
God, I'm hoping it's Boba Fett, but it's gonna be Obi-Wan. It's gonna be Obi-Wan. If they're having issues with Boba Fett right now, and they don't have a good direction, I mean, there's so much you can do with Obi-Wan, I think, where they might step away from the Boba Fett and save that for later. So
put Put it on the
I hope it's
back burner.
not
Boba
yeah.
burner.
the fit burner.
Bobby, Mr. Bob A. Feet.
Yeah, we'll just make a Cad Bane movie. Yeah, he's cool.
Hey now,
He is
that
cool,
is cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that is
yeah.
cool. All right, Ryan. What's your vote? Obi-Wan or Bob A. Feet?
Obi-Wan.
Okay. I'm saying Obi-Wan too, just because I think that there's enough assets in place for that right now. That's it.
And he plays more of a structural, integral part of the entire series up till, of course,
And maybe after
4.
Obi-Wan and after a couple Star Wars movies, they might get a little frisky and make a rated R Boba Fett movie.
Never. Disney will never make a rated R anything.
No,
I don't think.
the end of Disney.
Yeah, I don't think so. I really don't think they will. But I'm saying Obi-Wan, and I think I either way. The more I think about it, a Boba Fett movie would be pretty cool. But Obi-Wan, they have stuff. Obi-Wan, they've got the right time, they've got the right age, and it's basically right in between where it needs to be. So I'm all about it. I think that would be nice, and it would be where Clone Wars is, like after Episode 3. And before A New Hope, where he's still kind of just eyeballing Luke. I think that's a great idea for that time frame. So that's my opinion. We have one story left, boys.
Oh, real quick, it could
Yes,
kind of segue or be the side story to A New Hope in a sense too. Like if you brought it up to that time frame, you could kind of what was Obi-Wan doing in this? Yeah. I'm with you.
Wouldn't that be nuts though? Because then Rogue One would be going on at the same time. Obi-Wan is. Oh, that's probably why they wouldn't do it. Yeah, boosh! It all just came right together.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I don't know. Anyways, that's not for us to decide. That's Kathleen Kennedy's job, and she's done great so far. So let's see.
Yeah,
she's a bitch. No, I'm just kidding.
Whoa!
Just kidding.
I don't agree with it.
Schindler's List. She's cool, man.
Whoa! Again.
Well, she produced that movie. Get out of my face.
That's a very long but excellent movie.
All right.
You're too close. You're too close.
The last thing, and Ryan, this was for yours. The last thing is SEGA is bringing a whole bunch of games, retro games, straight to Android and iOS for free. They've already released 5 of them from the 1990s, straight to your brand new cell phone cellular device.
Sonic?
Yeah, correct.
What else? Mortal Kombat, maybe? I don't know.
No, not Mortal Kombat, actually. There was, let's see, there's a whole bunch of them, though. They only released 5 for now, but it was Altered Beast, which I never played.
How shitty Sega was, because we don't...
It was all Sonic. It was all Sonic.
Yeah, but Kid Chameleon. I knew Kid Chameleon. That's coming out.
Nah, there was nothing other than Sonic.
Phantasy Star 2 and Comic Zone. Those are the 5 that are out right now. So basically, you can download them for free, absolutely free, no cost at all. Now they'll be full of ads, but if you pay $2 a pop, you get them ad free. So I think that's brilliant. Yeah, what they're doing is they've opened their eyes and they're saying, man, people, Nintendo is making some cash. Nintendo is pulling in some serious tail off these. Let's figure out how to do it. And they have a lot of good IPs that really people loved, and you can't hate them for that. So I'm all about it.
I mean, I think that's going to be great. I just don't remember all the other titles except for Sonic. What I do remember more though was I believe it was Nintendo.
Like Echo the Dolphin. Vector Man.
At that point in my life, I was playing Magic the Gathering. So and Prince of Persia. I did play Prince of Persia, but that was more computer based, I think.
Yeah, I'm looking at these games and I don't remember any of these.
No, I don't.
There's Echo.
I got to tell you though, I would love for them to bring back. I think it was it Star Fox?
Star Fox is Nintendo.
Nintendo.
Yes, I know. Well, I'm just saying. I think that would be
hopefully.
Yeah, that's
an awesome game.
I'm surprised that wasn't announced at E3 because that should be coming back soon. I think they announced a port version for
that. I would play all day.
Solid.
I mean, kudos to them. I mean, I just it was just Sonic. That was it. That for me, that was it.
I'm real excited to see how unfortunately disappointed Ryan is that these are all coming out on Android and iOS.
Wait, I have a Pixel now, which is Android. I'm good.
Does it work? Okay, all right.
I'm using it right now.
Android is Google Pixel.
Okay, fantastic.
I think Windows phones are dead, man. There's nothing.
Yeah, he's not holding on
Yeah.
to that anymore.
That's
No.
good. That's good. Well, then good. Well, then welcome to the future, and we're all on board. And
I was
Welcome
here.
to the
I was
future
here like
is now.
40 episodes ago. It feels-
you were on the second episode.
no, I was on this Pixel like 40 episodes ago. What are we on?
43.
40. Oh no, like 30 episodes ago. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, there we go. Yeah.
All right. This
All
is spiraling out of control. This is heading the way of Echo the Dolphin. Can we?
Oh, come on. It was all right.
Laos can play Sega bass fishing with like the little
Hey!
controller.
Yeah.
Yeah, with it. Ooh, that was also on Nintendo 64, but it was a Sega game, you're right?
You can get it for
Bassmaster 2000, I believe.
no man, it's Sega bass fishing on
I have
Dreamcast.
Yeah, I have that. It
And
was
You had on? Oh yeah, you had on Dreamcast.
horrendous. Yeah. It was a
Oh,
good
sticky.
time.
Bro,
Yeah.
it looks badass.
It makes you actually hate fishing,
Yep.
and I
Sonic the
fish a
Hedgehog,
lot.
Pro-free.
Like, I would get so frustrated because I'm like,
Crazy
what?
Taxi.
Oh, you can get it for the 360 type.
Tie.
Anyways, continue.
Ultimate Beast.
Taxi.
Pro-free.
Crazy Taxi brings up a sensitive subject for me. How pissed would you guys be?
Is it a crazy
Oh, Crazy
subject?
Taxi. Yes, I do remember that game.
How crazy would it be if somebody started driving for Uber and they had a convertible taxi and they were like, hop in? Like, I'd still do it. I'd be like, this is my favorite dream ever that I get to live right now.
I'd just be like, my CEO just stepped down. I'm going crazy.
I'm going to the Fila store. All right. I don't think there is one of those anymore, but
I'm gonna download Altered Beast right now because it looks pretty awesome. So I'll let you guys know how it goes.
okay, great. Do that on air. That's cool.
I'm doing it right now on air.
Yeah, right now on air. We all need to hear about it.
Yep. Well, anything else you need to hear about Laos, or should we just wrap this shit up?
I was opening a beer and it got out of control, so sorry.
So no, sorry.
Sorry. It's okay. We can just go.
Well, Dane, thank you for joining us on this week's episode. I know that your schedule is crazy, man, but we appreciate having you. Where can the good kids find you?
At DT Mirt on Twitter. I usually just
And-
complain about NBA stuff, but
Which I responded to earlier. So there you go.
That's all right.
I saw
We
that.
we all do a bit of complaining. It's fine. It's fine. Mr. Lossman, where can they find you?
Mr. Osman.
And Ryan.
You guys can find me on Twitter and now Instagram at BrewedBoy813 and let me know what I'm doing wrong with my stouts.
Ryan always gives a call to action with his handles. I like it. I like it very much.
Just hashtag doubt the stout.
No, jeez.
No.
doubt. Yeah.
Never doubt the stout.
You're doubting yours.
Yeah, man.
No, I'm asking for improvement. That's not doubting.
Okay,
Well,
hashtag don't doubt the stout. How about that?
There you
hashtag
go.
don't doubt the stout. Or if you want to get a hold of us, use the hashtag Brewmasters Club or Brewmasters
Yes.
Club Cast. You can always reach us there. Of course, you can comment, you can tweet, you can shout us out, you can tag us whenever you'd like to. Brewmasters Club is on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. You can support the show by using the Amazon link below. Simply just click through, buy whatever you want to, and magically we get a commission off each thing you buy, no cost to you. So thank you very much. And Dane, as we say every podcast episode to close it out, our famous catchphrase.
Cool, guys. All right.
It's so fun because you guys just start getting the sweats like right when I start saying that. You're just like, oh, geez, who's gonna go through this stuff? That's it. Have a good night,
Cool,
everyone.
guys. All right.
All right, and cheers, everybody. Have a good night.
Adieu.
And
Adieu.
God bless you.
Oh, come on.
You've been listening to the official podcast of the Brewmasters Club, Craft Brews and Geek News. Grab a beer with the guys and be sure to subscribe to catch additional content. Add this podcast to your favorite RSS feed or iTunes. Chat with the guys on Twitter at Brewmasters Club and Facebook and online at www.brewmasters.club. Cheers!